So hello everyone, thank you for joining in for this session. Um, Sunshine Dobara, we have Mrs. Mateen Ansari, who is a social gerontologist. She's also the co-founder and director at Dobara. Welcome, Mateen ma'am. And we have Sameen Ansari, who is the creative director at Dobara, and she spearheads their virtual well-being program. Welcome, Sameen.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Uh,
Vinay.
let's start off, ma'am and Sameen.
Okay. Um, Good afternoon, and a heartfelt thanks to you, to the audience and Hyderabad Urban Labs for inviting Dobara to participate in the annual much-awaited Dodin event for the fourth consecutive year. We are happy to be associated with Anant and Bhashwati in their meaningful endeavors, highlighting the various aspects of our city to the population. Before I introduce myself, I would like to introduce the subject that we are going to talk about today. It is called gerontology. Now, what is gerontology? Gerontology is the study of aging processes and individuals across the whole life course. It is the study of the physical, mental, and social changes in people as they age. It is also the investigation of changes in society resulting from our aging population. And lastly, it is the application of this knowledge to policies and programs. As a result of this multidisciplinary focus of gerontology, professionals from diverse fields study gerontology and are involved in it. They could be economists, historians, social scientists, psychologists, art and literary professionals, business and medical professionals. Speaking of medical professionals, I would like to highlight the difference between gerontology and geriatrics, as people are generally confused about this. Geriatrics is the branch of medical science concerned with the prevention and treatment of diseases in older adults. It is a part of the broader field of gerontology. Gerontologists help improve the quality of life. They promote the well-being of people as they age through research, education, implementation, and application of this knowledge of the aging process and aging populations. Addressing you today is Mateen Ansari. I am a social gerontologist, the initiator of Dobara, meaning once again. With Dobara's focus on senior well-being through social interaction, intergenerational engagement, it results in a win-win situation for all involved with mutual give and take. With advances in science and technology, we see a marked increase in longevity. This means there is a lot to be done for this demographic, which is often ignored. Aging is an important aspect of our life that we tend to overlook and take for granted. We keep pushing it away. Dobara was created to help us realize that aging is for all, and we can plan our aging in such a way that all are happy and healthy in it. Dobara was planned to spread awareness about senior well-being and healthy, active aging. With me today is the creative director of Dobara, Sameen.
Thank you, Ma. Thank you, HUL, for inviting us to be a part of Dodin 2020. I am Sameen Ansari, and I'm joining you from the Netherlands. And I'm also the daughter of Mateen Ansari. Earlier this year, I had the good fortune of being in India when, with my parents, with my mother and father, when the world went into a lockdown. And during this time, I learned a lot about senior well being and the aging mind. And with mom, we sat down and brainstormed and ended up creating something called a virtual well-being program. Because even though the world outside had come to a stop, life had to continue somehow. And so we created this innovative solution in order to continue our work on senior well-being while keeping in mind the safety protocols, and somehow still allowing our members to stay connected constantly. Um,
In the words of, yes, Samir, shall I take?
yeah, go ahead.
In the words of Lynn Ruth Miller, loneliness and isolation are a pernicious malady in this society. And I think it is heartbreaking. It is totally heartbreaking as to why elders need to feel loneliness and isolation. These words resonate on so many levels, but even more so because they were said well before the pandemic ever struck. This shows that loneliness and isolation are issues which plague our world and especially our elders with devastating effects. We all understand that aging is a part of life, but very few of us are really prepared for it. Our life changes dramatically after we retire from work, the empty nest syndrome, and so on. And we think we are all prepared for this stage with our planning and investments in retirement funds and other contingencies. But actually, most of us are extremely unprepared for this stage in our life. And this leads to a silent decline in emotional and mental well being. With the word help, it encompasses so many things together: emotional, physical, mental well being, all need to be in balance in order to be in good health. For this balance to happen, one needs to be proactive. For this balance to happen, you need to look at brain healthy foods, heart healthy friends,
Mhm.
and soul healthy activities. All this, believe me, is not easy if you're alone. That is why at Dobara, we take the saying, it takes a village to raise a child. And we add on, it also takes a village to help our elders age successfully.
Thanks, Ma. I don't know if it's just me, but I can't hear you really well. So maybe can you speak up when, yeah?
Okay.
Okay. So this talk is geared towards sharing ideas and tips on how we can all do our part. Just like my mom and I, we got together and said, okay, pandemic happened. What can we do? Let's come up. And this is the perfect time to be creative and innovative and think outside the box. But it's also the perfect time for that intergenerational collaboration. Um, because I don't think mom would have done a virtual well-being if I was not there to be like, oh, it's easy. Let me help you. So I think that's a really good example of what we need right now. We need a collaboration of the ages together. So speaking of elders, if anyone here is thinking we're going to be talking about elders with regards to severe medical issues, we would like to just say it's better to refer to a medical expert in that regard. The medical aspect, however, is an especially important aspect when it comes to our elders. We need to be so much more aware and present when it comes to ailments in seniors, which might seem minor or trivial in others. We need to pay attention because as people age, there is a decline in their major senses, and these can be quite troublesome, and they might not even know it's happening to them. So one of the things we did with our virtual wellbeing program is we started something called an Ask Me Anything forum because we felt there might be interesting questions out there. And a lot of the questions we received from seniors were actually health related. But before the questions were asked, there was always this. This may seem like a silly question, but ... And this for us was extremely eye-opening, because in our world today, when we can Google just about anything, like any outlandish thing, you can go on Google and say how to, why, where. And this made us realize that our seniors were feeling a little left out, and also almost like their questions might not be worthy of being responded to. And another thing we heard often was, I don't want to bother my child or my caregiver with these questions. Now, what does that tell you when there's a number of people who have that thought? It shows you that somewhere we are creating a divide and we're putting up barriers when actually the need for open and healthy communication is essential. So the first thing that we can do is we can listen to our elders with open ears and open hearts, like actually listen, actively listen, with no judgment and no criticism. Just be there to help them find the answers they seek and the guidance they're looking for, no matter how trivial the issue might seem to you. By actively listening, you will also be able to start seeing things from their perspective. And this is literally what happened with my mother and me, because I listened to what was plaguing her, what was troubling her about the fact that she couldn't continue her senior well-being program because of the pandemic. And I could see that she needed help. And, I actively listened. Now, to add on to this, during this pandemic, another thing that did not come to a halt was all our other health issues. So one big help in these trying times is to offer your support in accompanying and transporting a senior to and fro their medical visits. This is really a big help, because medical visits are daunting for most seniors at any time, and especially so now during these scary times. We need to be there for them. What we recommend is that you reach out to your elders around you and just let them know, hey, I'm here. And piggybacking on this is another major help, which I'm sure a lot of people are already doing, but it doesn't hurt to repeat it. Offer to do groceries for your elders. The first wave of the calls that we received at Dobara at the very start of this lockdown was for help from seniors for food, because many of them were left isolated without help and without any access to food. And this is something that we can easily avoid simply by letting seniors in our buildings, our societies, our neighborhoods know that they can count on us. You do not need to know this person from Adam in order to say, hey, I'm here for you. You stay indoors. I will do the relay from the grocery store back home. We can all become friendly neighborhood grandchildren and children. Because there's no excuse in our world today for any elder living among us to feel like they're all alone, without anyone to support them.
Well, in our opinion, whether it is a pandemic time or not, help out elders with being up to date with technology. This is our message to the youth and the active adults. This will open up a whole new world for them. A world which seems full of the unknown for them suddenly becomes quite simple and enjoyable. Our virtual well-being program is entirely conducted on WhatsApp, and it's been over since 1st April. We are doing it very successfully, and our numbers are growing by the day. Our virtual well-being program on WhatsApp happened as a result of a research study that WhatsApp is the one form of technology that a majority of our seniors are actually comfortable using. Most people have smartphones, many have TVs, few have tablets, iPads. I'm sure they are all very well-intentioned gifts from their loved ones, but none of them have meaning if the elder is unable to use it without fear or trepidation. We've recently conducted an online workshop with the Social Pathshala on basics of WhatsApp. And you'll be surprised at how many came out of it liberated and exhilarated, because they said, we've been using WhatsApp, but we did not know these basics. So it always helps to sort of spread the information. We recommend to our youth and younger adults, go out into your building, your community, your neighborhood, put up a visible sign announcing hands-on help for seniors with their phones, with their technology issues, understanding how to use Zoom, ordering things online, and a host of other facilities available. Teach your grandparents and your elderly neighbors how to use the TV to its maximum potential. Show them how to make video calls, how to follow the progress and lives of their loved ones far away. Whatever it is, try and make an effort at least once a week to check in on a few elders you have identified. According to the United Nations, the share of older people aged above 60 is going to increase drastically, almost by 20% in India by 2050. Our goal is to equip people from an early age with knowledge, awareness, and resources so that we can all work together to help our seniors remain in good health, stay involved in the community throughout the aging process. We need to focus on three main areas here: older persons and infrastructure development, advancing health and well-being into old age, ensuring the presence of supportive environments for aging, and lastly, I wish to add one more angle to this. We lack a standardization of any sorts in our treatment of institutionalized aging, and I think it's very necessary for having some sort of standards for caregivers and aging facilities. A good example of a concept of the age-friendly spaces that I'm trying to talk about is with regards to restaurants and cafes and shops and malls in Hyderabad. Every time there is a new cool place that opens up, we seniors are excited about it. And then the questions come up. Is this place easy to access? Does it have ramps and elevators? Can we go there with walkers and wheelchairs and caregivers? And sadly to say, many a times, the answer is a no. Even parks and public places where we can just go and relax have a shortage of, let's say, accessible toilets, accessible ramps and pathways, and it is not safe or senior friendly. It is so important for your young entrepreneurs out there to keep this demographic in mind. We've seen the spike in these numbers and the future predictions of growth in this market segment. This is a phenomenal, essential demographic that is constantly feeling left out and ignored. Think about them. Keep them in mind when you're planning spaces and projects. Put in accessible ramps, create senior days or times in malls and supermarkets, put in senior discounts, do what you can to make us feel included. Focus on senior-friendly places, senior-friendly environments. Now, for the elders, as an elder, here is what I feel. We all wonder, what can I do as a senior citizen to make sure that I stay healthy, fit, and active? Well, let me share a few tips. I believe most of you already know this, but as of now, let's be honest. Let's assess and look inwardly and see if we are really practicing these. My first point is with regard to routine. Try and set up your day in such a way that it creates a routine. Routine and consistency in what you do are the secret ingredients for success. find a sense of purpose, a sense of relevancy, whether it is a beautiful garden you're tending to, whether you've adopted a pet, interacting with youth, interacting with family far away, teaching children, um, either physically or now online, writing a blog, volunteering to help others, and just sharing your reservoir of knowledge and experiences with those around you. You'll be surprised at how much you have to give back. Just mull around until you find your ikigai. Coming to another aspect of our health and activities, let's talk about eating, nutrition. Eat healthy. Good nutrition is important. It is the foundation stone of self-care, and that is our priority, to care for ourselves so that we can have a good and healthy life. Move a little is what I say. It may sound trivial to you, but it's very, very important. We need to do some sort of activity that doesn't necessarily have to be a back-breaking workout. There's something you do entirely for yourself, for your pleasure. And if you're confined indoors these days, make it a point every couple of hours to get up and walk around mindfully from one end of the house to the other. Try out various other techniques of exercise like gentle yoga, tai chi, breathing. There are many safe ways of moving your body without the fear of falling. And I think it's worth exploring each of these. Whatever you do, make sure you do it repetitively, day after day, on a regular basis. Our bodies are quite resilient, but they need constant reminders of what they are capable of doing. Next, let's come to your skills, your interests. Indulge in hobbies. This is your moment to shine. As being a senior citizen, you have the time, you have the wisdom. So why hold back? Just what is holding us back from pursuing more of what we love to do? It may be just our hobbies that we have never indulged in. So indulge yourself. We are big fans of lifelong learning, and lifelong learning doesn't have to stop just because you've reached a certain age, a number. Go on, surprise yourself. Surprise yourself by mastering something new. Make new friends, broaden your social network is my next piece of advice. As we age, we tend to become more and more isolated. Maybe because there's loss of hearing, transportation difficulties, we think we have less to offer to the world, and we tend to close ourselves to new experiences. A lot of seniors I meet tell me it's so hard to make new friends at our age. I can tell you this is not true at all. We have just put together a group of 250 people of all ages from all over the world into a new social strong group. The point of a social network is to have people we can laugh with, people who share common interests, people who help us grow intellectually and emotionally, opening up to new experiences and new connections. As elders, we need to be open-minded and see the world with wonder and curiosity. I understand we do bend towards doom and gloom sometimes. This does not attract the kind of energy that is required to stay healthy and active. So let's start by saying yes. Start with small steps. Be kind to yourself and to others. The world is full of beauty and wonder waiting for us to reach out and explore. We can be who we want to be. We can really explore our true potential at this stage in our life. You know what? The best part of this is we have nothing to prove to anyone. We don't have to live up to anyone's expectations. We just have to be the best version of ourselves. Right, Sameen? And how do you think we can do this? It's all entirely our call. It is by making the better choices, the right choices. The choice lies within you, your strength. The truth is, the choices that you make today, tomorrow, and every day thereafter are ultimately the determinants of your long-term health and wellness. As we age, the choices we make become all the more important. Now, isn't that amazing? It's all in our hands. Now is the time to be using all of your skills and even better, developing new ones. Start now with small steps. Start with something you've always wanted to do. Learn to dance, sing, play an instrument, take up a new language, a new craft, reach out to a friend or a neighbor in need. Decide to volunteer, build a routine, make new friends, create and learn new things, explore spiritual aspects of life. There's so much to do out there. A senior I look up to very often told me, Mateen, I have 34 hobbies and I've excelled in most of these, but I still feel there's a whole world out there for me to learn. Now, isn't that something remarkable? Dobara believes in the start to stop phenomena. Now, what is this? Stop doing something that is bad for you. Start taking control. Start by making the right choices for yourself. Good health comes from you. The choices you make today are the ones that are going to make a difference in your future tomorrow. Right? So let's choose healthy aging. Let's redefine the experience of aging. Let's choose to be actively involved in our own future. And for our younger members in the audience, I urge you, think about your elders as assets of your society. There's so much that you can learn from them, and there's so much that you can give them in return. Aging happens to all of us. So be active in shaping how the world treats elders today for a better world tomorrow. Thank you, friends. How are we for time, Vinay? Any questions?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Mateen, ma'am, and thank you, Sameen, for these wonderful insights and points that we so often think we know, but often miss out on. So, and I personally have been following Dobara's work very closely. I'm also part of the network. So, I've also, the WhatsApp workshop that was very recently conducted. So it's one of the most active Dobara WhatsApp group that I have on my phone. So it's really wonderful. We are just in time. We have about a minute, almost there. Yes. So thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you, everyone who. Yes. Uh, you people can leave comments on Facebook or here on Zoom, and we will address them and we will pass them on to Mateen ma'am and Sameen, and we can answer them.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Vinay. Well organized.
Thank
loving
you,
loving the 2 days.
Lovely having you all here, ma'am and Sameen. Take care.
Take care. You too.
Thank you.